Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Formula Challenge for round 9 of the Formula Challenge season here at the Hockenheim ring in Germany. I'm joined, as always, by Menno Klont alongside me in commentary and Tom Stevens on cameras today. Menno, we had a quite interesting round at Silverstone last time out. We'll see that dominant performance really from Dylan Platt in race 1. How how was that, and how are you looking forward to today? Do you think Dylan can repeat that?
Well, he looks quite strong in the practice session, but yeah, we shall see what today will bring here at the Hockenheim ring in Germany. So yeah, a different, totally different circuit than 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Dylan is the man in form, and yeah, he seems to be really quick when it matters. So yeah, I think he looks quite good for those races. But let's see what the qualifying will bring. Also for the other drivers, and let's see what people like Darius Andre can do. Mike Quint, who won the second race 2 weeks ago after penalties for Adrian Faber. So yeah, interesting what today brings. What do you think, Josh? What will it bring?
Well, I think if we've got anything to go by right now with Darius Andre and Dylan Platt there, kind of side by side at the hairpin, just on their outlap in quali, it looks like they're ready for a fight, and that is obviously always good for us. I've noticed, I mean, that Darius especially hasn't necessarily looked quite as strong as he did early on in the season in the last few rounds, but in practice, those two TCS off cars have been looking very quick, and Dylan obviously has as well, as he went a little bit wide there, but yeah, I think we should get some good battling between them. One thing to note, we had, I think all over Germany at the moment, there's been quite a high chance of rain, but I believe going into today that's sort of dropped a little bit, so we could still see a bit of rain, but it's not as likely now, but obviously that will spice things up even more. As we see now, Darius Andre and the rest of the grid going on to their first flying laps of qualifying. It's quite a difficult track this really. So you've got this, well, quite quick entire first sector with this long straight. But then as you head into the stadium section, you want quite a bit of grip there, and there could be some quite tricky corners that catch you out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of setups these guys are running, whether they've just gone full low downforce to help them out in the race and in that first sector. But obviously that will compromise them a little bit. We're seeing the first few people across the sectors at the moment. Dylan Platt with the purple sector 1, just, well, to only a few thousandths quicker than Darius Andre. So at the moment they are matching each other.
Yeah, let's see what the sector times are doing. I was actually looking at it in some other screen. Yeah, the guys from TCS look pretty quick, but Dylan Platt as well. Everybody's not on track apart from Remco de Zeeuw, who's still in the pits.
Oh, and Darius Andre there, sorry. Darius Andre actually went into the pits there. It was a bit weird. He had, obviously, well, he ended up with purple sector 2, but clearly I don't know if he made a mistake there in the final sector. I didn't notice anything. But he decided not to complete the lap, which means that Dylan Platt, for now, is on provisional pole. 6 seconds back to Stefan Schreider. But we'll wait and see when Jake Denham crosses the line. He's been looking pretty good the first 2 sectors.
Well, I saw a crash from Adam Rainey into turn 1, but he didn't lose a front wing, so it can still continue, but I think he will go to the pits.
Yeah, and Joseph Erlock there actually just now goes provisional pole. And Dylan Platt, I think he's gone on for another flying lap. He's got purple sector 1 again. But he made a small mistake there in the hairpin. It's ran a little bit deep. And like I say, yeah, at the moment, Joseph Erlock on provisional pole by just 200ths to Dylan Platt. And then there's, well, almost 2 tenths back to Luke Mitchell and Jake Denham behind.
Yeah, I'll now put the lap times in. Still Joseph Herlock, so that first lap was quite good. But now I see other drivers getting good laps. We're now waiting for Mike Quint, who's nearly there at the finish line.
Yeah, and Dylan Platt, so he set that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mike Quint actually does go provisional pole for now, almost 2 tenths ahead of everyone else.
Very good.
But yeah, Dylan Platt took that purple sector 1 there on his second lap, but I don't know if his tyres are maybe a little bit too gone for the second lap, but just made a mistake in the middle sector and so pits.
Well, I see we only got the 30 cars, and we're missing 2 cars, and I believe those are both the Nova Finlandia cars, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't see them on track currently.
No, I don't believe they're here. Sorry, I was just watching back there. Adam Rainey, he was trying to enter the pit, but unfortunately just went straight on really, and went back onto the track and had to escape there. So that should be his qualifying session over, unfortunately for him. P11 at the moment, but obviously with the track should get quicker throughout the session, so it might drop down there, and that might be a big mistake in the scheme of things.
Looking who we currently see going fast, and let's see, Johan Mas, who rejoined Team Verlich, is now in P8. He just put in a time, and I believe Darius Andre puts in a best sector 2, a purple sector 2. So
he does,
let's see what he can do.
Set to 1 time, I think, is pretty good as well. Not quite purple, but still good.
I think it should be a top 3 position at least. But will he go pole? Provisional pole? And he goes provisional pole. Ooh, with 4 tenths, I believe. Well, 3.5 tenths, so that's a very good lap from Darius. But he's the championship leader, so we expect no less from him. I believe nearly everyone now set a lap time. Waiting for lap times from Brent Evans, Remco de Zeeuw and Josh Diggles.
Yeah, so now Dylan Platt also heading out onto his second run. We'll just have to wait and see what his first set to time is. Obviously he's now ended up about half a second off the pace when it was looking good for him on his first lap, but that's what happens with bank laps. Some people maybe taking a few more risks than others. It's Dylan Platt again, making a small mistake at the hairpin. He still doesn't seem quite able to get it stopped in time there. I believe he may have actually track extended somewhere because his set times aren't showing up. I'd assume that would be turn 1 because that is quite an easy corner to do that. The curb isn't all that wide on the outside, and obviously it's a fast corner. So I believe Dylan Platt has track extended there, so this lap time won't count. So he'll have to just set himself up for another lap.
Platt now in P4, can he improve? Now starts his flying lap, but I believe a lot of drivers are fast. And look at Joseph Hurlock. Joseph Hurlock now put in a purple sector 1. Oh sorry, a green sector 1, but he got a big slipstream from his teammate Mike Quinn. So they are really working together, getting the maximum out of the car and out of this qualifying session. So I think Mike Quinn will get a slipstream back on the next lap.
Yep, and Jay Dennon there actually went second place on that lap. So at the moment, it's TCSF Racing 1 and 2. Dylan Platt on his lap this time, it will count, at least for now. But his set to 1 time is a little bit down on what he's done on his opening lap. Oh wait, no, sorry. His set to 1 is actually up on his previous lap. It is just
we had 2
down compared to Darius.
Times from Joseph Hurlock. What can he do? Will he jump up? He is still in P4.
Yeah, he had a really bad final set to that, so didn't improve his lap time. Dylan Platt again, quite slow mode of sector, and he's having to pit. So he went out on a run there, tried 2 laps, and neither of them have counted for him. So it's well, I mean, I think it just shows how difficult this track can be sometimes, or at least to extract all of the performance out. So at the moment, yeah, looking very good for the TCS Off Racing guys, 1 and 2, and then the Alpha Delta Racing guys, P3 and 4.
And then with Dylan Platt in P5, but he's still quite close to Joseph Hurlock in lap time, so if Dylan can get the lap time out, he can still, I think, at least get Hurlock. But it also depends on if Hurlock can put in those, good first 2 sectors again, and then with a decent 3rd sector, then Hurlock could even jump. Let's see where everybody is. We now got, we only got 11 drivers within a second. But the field is quite close, with only Josh Diggles not putting in a lap time in this qualifying session. And Fabrice Moralato is now in P29 with a 129.7, which is 3.6 seconds from pole, which Darius now has with a 126.181. Can we go faster? We shall see. While we now see Scott Mitchell jumping to P4, so he had a very good lap that pushed him into the 2nd row for now.
Yeah, he was in P6 before that, alongside his brother Luke Mitchell, who was also looking quite good at the moment, just a couple of tenths off Dylan Platt now. But yeah, very good lap from Scott Mitchell there to jump himself up into P4. I believe he's gone onto another lap and actually improved his set to 1 time again. So we could see him potentially, actually he's set the exact same lap time as Mike Quint there. So just a 1,000th improvement is all Scott Mitchell needs to move up in position. I'm sure that's what he'll be looking for on this lap. But yeah, had a little bit of traffic there, which isn't ideal for him. I think his set to 2 time is down on what he'd done before.
I see a mover in Stan Vlietstra. Stan Vlietstra jumped up to a few positions, now in P20. So Stan Vlietstra makes his Formula Challenge debut after driving, I think, at least 8 to 9 rounds already in Academy Series. So he knows the car and now wants to try it in Formula Challenge. So it's very good to see him here. Let's see if he got some purple lap times.
I've just noticed, sorry, Dylan Platt went onto his lap again, and this time he's got a car in front of him, I believe, of, who would that be, Macho Standat? Yeah. So, not a great session so far for Dylan Platt, just not quite able to set himself up properly to get the lap times in. I think he might have also cut on that lap too, because his set to times aren't shown again. So yeah, at the moment Dylan Platt, he seems to have the speed in him, but just not quite able to extract the lap and actually put it on the board. So at the moment Owen does pit again, so I think he should just about have enough time to go back out, do 1 final lap, but that'll be all the pressure there to make sure it's a good one and make sure he can get it in. So at the moment I think all the drivers will be setting up for their final runs. If they kind of go through now, they should have 2 shots at it, but obviously they second lap their tyres may be a little bit worn more, so they want to try and get it done on this first one. The first one of the leaders is Darius Andre to go on his lap. Oh, but he's run wide at turn 1. Not too sure if this lap will count for him. I believe it isn't, so he'll have to just set himself up again,
but
keep his tyres in the range and go again.
Look at Adrian Faber. Adrian Faber now he's got a few fast sectors. Where can he jump to? He was P15. Can he jump up to a better position? I think he can, but where will it end? Will it be top 10? Will it be top 5? It will be P5, so a big jump from Adrian Faber, puts himself in P5. So with 1 minute to go in the qualifying session, that's the time when you want to do it. Now I see Jack Nichols with some fast sectors. What can he put in? P11, will he improve? Where will he jump to? And it will be P5 for Jack Nichols. So Jack Nichols jumps ahead of Adrian Faber. So the track is going to be faster and faster.
Yeah,
What can
so
Tom
just
van der
saw as
Voort
well,
do? Yeah.
Joseph Erlock, so he jumped up to P2 there, just split the TCS off racing guys. And as you said, Tom van der Voort just moves up one position up to P9, but still an improvement. And yeah, like I say, I think everyone at the moment with green sectors, Mike Quint with green sector 1 and 2.
Mike Quint is,
he's just messed up the corner there. Just went a little bit too deep into the hairpin. So he might still improve. Oh no, he's run wide again at the final corner. Yeah. That's his session over. P4 at the moment. You'll have to hope that no one else can improve. Saying that, Darius Andre just set the purple set to 1 time on his final run. So he's already got pole for now. But I guess he'll be wanting to cement that.
Ooh. Well, Luke Mitchell was on the flyer, but made a big mistake, so he will not improve. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, and we've got Dylan Platt. His set to 1 time is a little bit down. We'll have to see. His set to 2 time is green for now. I'm not too sure whether he's up or down relative to his previous lap. Just a tenth or so will move him up 2 positions at least. So he doesn't need much here. At the moment in P8, where does he go? P6. So like I say, just a couple of tenths improvement. But that means we've got P4, 5 and 6 within 5 thousandths from each other.
Take from Darius.
Yeah.
He's not improving. So that means the top 15 is within a second. Darius Andre gets pole position with Joseph Hurlock surprisingly in P2, Jake Danahan in P3 and Mike Quint in P4. So that's 2 TCS off and 2 Alpha Deltas on the first 2 rows. Then in P5 we've got Scott Mitchell and then Dylan Platt in P6. The rest is up to you, Josh.
Yeah, so then we've got the second Kings Racing car of Jack Nichols in P7, with Adrian Faber in P8, Tom van der Voort in P9, and Luke Mitchell in P10. And then Damien Scour on P11 making his return also for Team Furlich. He just did the first round for them in Australia, but now he's back. Adam Rainey in P12 with Gijs Sonneveld in P13. Guillaume Mas, like you mentioned earlier, also making his return at Team Furlich in P14. And Mateusz Guzowski rounding out what will be the point scorers in P15. And then behind that, you've got Tom Voss, Alessandro Valente, Mike Bell, Stefan Schreider, Massimiliano Riboli, and then Ben Willis, Stan Vlietska, Tommy Koivunen, Macho Sandak, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Josh Diggles, Bryn Evans, Remco De Zeo, Dan Halsall, and then Fabrice Moralato rounding out the grid.
That's the qualifying session, and yeah, we've got 2 very good races hopefully yeah, happening in a few minutes, and then we shall see how good the overtaking will be, because this is quite a difficult circuit, but the DRS will help. And we've got a hairpin, Josh, and a hairpin is always interesting, especially at the first lap when you're all braking for that hairpin. You sometimes see a bit of problems there, a bit of carnage at the hairpin. But also the first corner is quite tricky to get it right, especially when you have got dirty air behind another car. So Josh, you're looking forward?
I think so, yeah. Like you say, I mean, it can be difficult, at least in the final set to follow, but there is quite a long straight there with DRS and yeah, and then a hairpin to top it off, so you could see some bold moves there, and it could pay off. It'd be interesting to see who goes through it, because at the moment you've got, let's see, well, at least the top 2 rows, got the 2 TCS off guys that really don't need to risk much at the moment. They're leading the team standings by quite a bit, and they're 1-2 in the drivers, so they don't necessarily have to go for it much. But then with them is the 2 Alpha Deltas, who, well, they're a little bit lower down in the team standings, and well, with the team they've got, they can, I'm sure they'll be looking to put a charge on the final half of the season to move themselves up. So maybe they'll try to go a little bit more aggressive, which will then be what the TCS off guys will have to watch out for. So I think for now though, we'll just go on a quick 5-minute break before race 1. So we'll see you in a few minutes. and welcome back to the Hockenheim ring as the warm-up session has ended now. So we're here for, well, hopefully in a couple of minutes we should be heading on to the formation lap for race 1 here. Oh, the graphic seems to be a little bit wrong on the screen there. It's not 33 and 22 laps, it is 2 17-lap races today, plus the formation lap. That seems to be the one for Super Cup, which has slightly longer races. But yeah, 2 17-lap races, so a track like this that might actually be a little bit difficult on tyre wear, but we'll have to wait and see on that. We've got as well there, as you can see, this is the first race in the second half of the season, as next time out in 2 weeks will be the French Grand Prix back at Manicourt. I believe the last few years have been a Paul Ricard for that. And then you've got sort of the standards now of Spa, Monza, Singapore, and then it was Suzuka, Kota and Brazil to round off the season. But here we are, heading onto the grid now for the formation lap, as everyone will be making their final checks. I'm sure they would have been going through their practice starts in the warm-up session, just making sure they know exactly what they want to do, and just planning really what they want to do on the first lap to avoid the carnage and try and gain some positions.
Yeah, we shall see what type of race we will see. Will we see some rain? That's the question. So yeah. Exactly,
yeah. Like I say, well, at least in the week or so before, there was quite a high chance of rain. I think there was thunderstorms around the area. But it seems like at the moment it might hold off. It might be a little bit sunny and the rain might come tomorrow instead. And potentially on Thursday for Super Cup. But as we run through the grid now, like I said, we have got Darius Andre on pole, Hurlock P2, and then the other TCS off and Alpha Delta of Dennehan and Quinn on row 2. And then you got Scott Mitchell and Dylan Platt 5 and 6, with Jack Nichols and Adrian Faber P7 and P8. Then you've got Tom van der Voort P9, Luke Mitchell P10, Damien Scouron P11, and Adam Rainey there in P12. Then Gijs Sonneveld P13, Yomin Mas in P14, Tez Gazowski in P15, and Tom Voss in P16. Then Alessandro Valente P17, Mike Bell P18, Stefan Schreider P19, and Massimiliano Riboli P20. Ben Willis P21, Stan Valeska P22, Tommy Koivunen P23, and Maciej Sandak P24. And Bruno Sousa Freire and his teammate in Deltec Josh Diggles P25 and 6, and Bryn Evans P27 and Renko Dzeo P28. And then it's an all sim racing guys final row, P29 and P30 for Dern Halsall and Fabrice Morolato. We will see those 2 spots at the back not filled in. Normally we would have seen the Nova Finlandia cars on the grid, but unfortunately they are not here today.
Yeah, so what's interesting, both the sim racing guys' car, or SAG cars, are at the back, and I would say it isn't not the worst place to be. Of course you don't want to stay there, but at the start from the back row you can see yeah, the race on Volt good there, so yeah, let's see how much they can move up. I think
exactly, I think yeah. Especially with a 30-car grid like this, in some ways you're better off being on that final row than being somewhere around kind of P15 to P20. So yeah. Obviously there you're right in the middle of everything, and that's normally where we see incidents happen.
And we're now waiting for the start. I see Darius Andre already being a bit like turning his box. He wants to go to the inside for turn 1. Is that the best line? We shall see. Waiting for the lights. We see 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And here at the Hockenheim ring we are go, and it's quite a good start from Darius.
Oh, it's a great start for Mike Quint, sorry.
Mike Quint, very good.
Jumped straight down in there. He's got himself into P3. As behind, it seems to be clean throughout. A few people having to run wide at turn 1, but clean. That's the main thing. And Scott Mitchell as well passed straight down in there. I guess side by side on the corner onto the straight, but no, Scott Mitchell has got it. So now Mike Quint is very close behind his teammate. Be interesting to see, well, if they already go for moves or if they're going to have to do any team orders there. At the moment, he's not going to go for it.
Oh, and Jake Denhan and Scott Mitchell. Scott Mitchell pushes a bit, but it's good enough. What is the hairpin doing? Is there big drama? Not yet. We had a car off the track, which was Mike Bell. Mike Bell is still there. Oh, 3 wide, lap 1, 3 wide, and Mike Bell is so close, but he makes it, and he makes another position. Oh, Mike Bell half spins, and now he's in P19, but no big damage. Now they're going into the stadium section. It's still Darius Andre who leads, and then it's Joseph Hurlock. Mike Quint is, yeah, a bit further now. Jake Denhan is back in P4, so Scott Mitchell is in P5 with his teammate in P6. With Dylan Platt now in P7. Dylan Platt is going into the pits. Did he have a jump start, Josh?
I didn't notice anything. It could be a jump start. Maybe he hasn't fully loaded in the setup. Could be the fuel is wrong. But either way, we'll keep an eye on whether he is just driving through. So he must have had a jump start. So unfortunate for him, he's dropped right down to the back. Last place. It's going to be a long race for him to try and gain those positions back. But now we're on the straight again. Darius Andre already, obviously DRS isn't available at the moment, but he's already jumped out of the DRS zone anyway. And Mike Quint again not able to make a move on his teammate. As behind we've got Faber and Tom van der Voort side by side at the hairpin.
Yes.
That's a move around the outside there for Tom van der Voort. Although Faber's still there to go into this little kink. Faber on the inside, bit of wheel banging. And Faber breaks very late there at the Mercedes grandstand. And he should just about hold on there. Very good battle in there. But Faber has slipped onto that P7. Van der Voort just to stay in P8 for now. But Faber now would have lost the DRS, or any DRS and slipstream we would have got from the 2 kings in front. So that's going to leave him vulnerable on the next lap.
So,
Behind as well, you've got 2 team virtues in a line, also in this group, and they'll be wanting to make their way through as well.
I believe Remco de Zeeuw made a mistake. He's now in P30, while Dylan Platt now is in P29. Well, I see Fabrice Moralato going off. He's now in P29 with Dylan Platt now in P28. What can Dylan Platt do with this race? Because of course he is much faster than the rest, but now he needs to be really fast and overtaking a lot of guys to make sure that he might get a good starting position for race 2. But this race, he can forget a good result unless it starts to rain and he does something amazing with strategy.
So we're just seeing there Luke Mitchell with a big dive up the inside of Tom van der Voort there into the hairpin. Locked up the inside a lot, but he did get it stopped and he has made the move stick. So very good move there from Luke Mitchell. And he is going to be able to hold on into the next corner. Very good there. And just with Dylan Platt, I mean, he's already jumped himself up to P26 now. Got past the 2 Deltex though. But I think his only chance really at the moment is just aiming for points in this race, the top 15 finish, and try and get the reverse grid, or a good reverse grid position for race 2. Because at the moment, his entire round really, it's not gone to plan. But we'll just have to wait and see if he's able to do that. And at the front, you've got Jake Denhan pushing hard over the curves at turn 1 to try and get in the DRS and Mike Quint. And he's closer to Mike than Mike is to Hurlock at the moment. But on the last lap, they all seem to have pretty similar speed, even with the slipstream and DRS. So Denhan at the moment might be a little bit too far back to try anything. And further back, we've got Guillaume Mas closing in, Tom van der Voort in front. Not sure if he'll be able to make any move. He has a look for it, and I think he just put van der Voort off a little bit there because he went deep himself. Oh, but he's got on the curb there on the exit. That's jumped him up, and now he's under pressure from his teammate. So he won't fight that one too much. I've got a decent gap back, so he doesn't need to. And that means Scouron has got through now into P10.
Oh, and we had Guy Sonneveld going for a move on Mateusz Guzowski. It was a bit of a dive bomb. He didn't get it stopped and now lost, I think, he lost 4 positions because of that. But no damage, I would say, no big damage there.
Yeah, just seen there as well, actually Stanley Extra make a great move on Mike Bell there on the right hand end to the stadium section. That's normally quite a difficult corner even on your own. So to make a move into it, quite impressive. That moves him up into P19 on the train though for the points, which I'm sure he'll be aiming for. And in front we've got, so actually Scott Mitchell now right on the back of this train, closed up even more. I think he pushed a little bit too hard into turn 2 though, maybe. He dropped back a bit there, so they won't necessarily have the run on the main straight here. Mike Quint though potentially has a run on his teammate. He's going to back off for now, but I'm sure at some point they might have to think about team orders if maybe Quint thinks he's a little bit quicker. Because for now Darius Andre is just pulling away, and there's a bit of a train forming here for P2.
Yeah, Mike Quint seems to be a bit quicker, but Jake Dennehan also looks quick. So what are you doing when you are the team Alpha Delta? Because Joseph Hurlock, he is not slow by any means, but yeah.
Oh, so Mike Quint there just got in the gravel on the right hand there.
Made a big mistake,
yeah, he had a bit of a wiggle, but just about managed to hold it all together. Yeah, no, I see your point. It's difficult, really, to know what to do. Obviously, with Dennehan so close behind, any sort of move, I'm sure he'd pounce on and try to swap their drivers.
I
and
would
also,
say
maybe in some ways, it's better to have the faster driver behind, or if he is the faster driver behind, to just try and defend from both of them. Obviously, if Quint gets through and Hurlock maybe doesn't feel like he's got the pace, then he can drop back a little bit.
We had Scott Mitchell who had a nearly a half spin, but I believe he didn't lose too much with that. Still is in the DRS, so I think he can get back to it. Well, I'm looking if we got some overtaking. I believe Alessandro Valente is going to attack Massimiliano Riboli for P15.
Yeah, Riboli there just had the straight line speed at the end of the straight there, but blocks up a little bit. Valente tried to go to the switchback, couldn't quite. I think he got a little bit of a hit from Ben Willis while doing that. Obviously all slowing up a lot more than Willis would have expected. But they've all still got their wings. Should be no damage there. So just have to try again on the next lap.
I now saw a similar mistake from Joseph Hurlock going into the stadium as what we saw from Mike Quint. So those cars are pretty fast, but they are pretty unstable, I would say, in some of the corners. And of course, if you've got the focus and you trust the car, you can play a bit with an unstable car. But if you lose the trust in a car, then an unstable car can be your worst enemy. Well, Mike Quint will be the worst enemy of Joseph Hurlock, because now he's really close. And with DRS, I think he will now go to pass him. He now has got a chance to do it. And
I think at this point, with how close he is, they got a need to. Dennehan did make a mistake at turn 1, ran wide, so they do have a good opportunity for it. But no, they're still going to both try and go side by side there. But Hurlock doesn't fight it too much and does just let Quint through. So it'll be interesting to see now if Quint tries to close up to Andre, maybe drag Hurlock and the rest of the train along. I'm sure. As Hurlock there actually locked up a little bit into the Mercedes corner and almost went into the back of Quint, which wouldn't have been good for the team. But they're all fine.
But now the question is, if you are Mike Quint, do you want to push as hard as you can, or do you want to brake a bit so that if Hurlock stays in your DRS, then Dennehan cannot pass Hurlock and you will be safe for P2? That's a bit of strategy which you can play, but maybe Mike Quint says, like, I'm going to push a bit now, and if I drive Hurlock out of the second, then it's not my problem. Let's see. Wow, Joseph Hurlock is pushing really hard, but the car seems really unstable. But for now, he can play with it, and that's I think very good. But
Yeah, I don't know if
Jake
maybe
Denhan is
Hurlock
close.
with those 32 laps, like you say, where he has been moving around quite a lot. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
just overheated those tyres maybe, or
yeah.
worn them off a bit more.
But there the move will
Starting even
come,
more
and
now.
will Joseph Hurlock defend? No, he will not defend. Why are you not defending? Because now Jake Denhan can just go into the inside and just take P3 off you. Well, you could have defended much more there, Joseph Hurlock. But yeah, he didn't do that, so yeah, bit of surprise because now actually Jake Denhan has a big chance to overtake Mike Quint as well. Well, I would have thought like if Joseph would have did a better defending move, it would have been much more difficult for Jake to get close to Mike Quint, at least for this lap. But now he's already there. All the cars look so unbalanced now. I think it's also have something to do with the tires, but yeah, goes okay for now. Scott Mitchell is getting closer and closer to Joseph Hurlock as well, and Joseph Hurlock seems to struggle now with the dirty air, and yeah, the car placement doesn't look as good as it was before. Anything you noticed, Josh, about this?
No, just the same things you really like. Say Hurlock, at least in the last few laps, he's been sliding even more and
Yeah.
a little bit less controllably it seems.
Yeah, look at Jake Denhan, because Jake Denhan will go for the overtake on Mike Quint. I'm pretty sure he will do it because now he's got DRS. Look at the straight line speed. Will Mike Quint defend? Come on, you can defend. Oh, not even defending. Oh, that's interesting. They're just letting it go for the moment, or do they know something we don't know? Like, do you want to keep the tires alive until the end, and defending will cost too much tires, or is there a gentleman's agreement just to pull away from the rest and battle later? I'm not sure, but Jake Denhan, has it pretty easy. Of course, he needs to make the overtakes work, but I don't see a lot of defending, and I would have expected more for that.
Yeah, same. But maybe they're expecting Denhan not to be able to pull away, because obviously now Denhan at the front of the train won't have any slipstream or DRS like he did have to make those moves. So maybe they're hoping that Denhan wouldn't have too much pace to be able to pull away. But at the moment, it does seem like he has that. He's already pulled half a second there, and Mike Quint, who loses it a little bit at turn one, had oversteer into understeer, and got back even more there. So yeah, it looks like whatever they were trying there didn't quite work out. Denhan seems to be able to just sort of pull away now. So now they're going to have to turn their attention to Scott Mitchell behind. And hopefully they won't make it quite as easy for him as they did for Denhan.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a first retirement in Bryn Evans. I just noticed it. I'm not sure if you already said that, but he is out of the race, unfortunately.
That's a shame to see. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I didn't notice any proper incidents.
Adrian Faber is really close now, on the back of who is it? Jack Nichols.
Jack
this
Nichols,
is for P6. Oh, they touch. And Adrian Faber.
Sorry, we've got as well Luke Mitchell and Tom van der Voort going for it there with Damon Scourum right behind, trying to have a look as well. They went side by side at the hairpin, but I believe they're all in the same positions they were going into the lap. So yeah, it's proven to be quite easy to look for moves, but difficult to make them stick really. What have you noticed that I haven't?
I saw a lot of spinning wheels at the stadium section for Guy Sonneveld, Alessandro Valente, Mateusz Guzowski. So the whole group from P13 onwards to P18 were in a big fight, and I thought there was a spinner, but there wasn't a spinner. So well played. We only had tires screaming it out. So we now are going back to P5. We now got Scott Mitchell going to the inside. Yeah, the inside is of course the better side because the next corner is a hairpin to the right. So he will brake quite early. But overtake done now. What can Joseph Hurlock do? Searches for his slipstream. Can he go for for an attack now and back? No, he can't. So Scott Mitchell now is in P4. And can Scott Mitchell, can he catch up to Mike Quint and steal that final podium position away? We will find that out quite soon.
Yeah, I noticed that obviously Joseph Hurlock there dropped back from his teammate Quint there, so had no slipstream or DRS to help him, and yeah, that proved to be quite easy for Scott Mitchell. Further behind, the battle for P8 still going on. Mitchell and Van der Voort went side by side at a hairpin, but again Van der Voort just placed his car well to be able to defend from him. Oh, Guillaume Massa there at the penultimate corner, just had a snap of oversteer really when turning in. He's had to go around in the gravel, go rejoin in this pack that you had noticed before, which is not going to be good for him. Down all the way to P17 from P11 there.
Yeah.
But that's not good for him.
So the points for Guillaume Mas, and where is Dylan Platt? Only P22, and yeah, only I believe 5 laps left after this one. Can Dylan Platt get a point out of it?
Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Faber there. Oh, he made the move on Nichols down the straight, but Nichols sends it back at him under the brakes, full of hairpin, and he again manages to defend that move. And again behind, Tom Van der Voort defending from Luke Mitchell. But Faber now, he's going to have to go around the outside in the Mercedes curve. He's going to hold it there. He's going to the inside for the next corner. But I don't think he's quite enough alongside. No, not quite. Fitting behind Jack Nichols for now. It's a difficult corner for him to send it up the inside there. He has a look, but again can't do it, and he's in the gravel. And that's lost him all the time there, yeah. Exactly, he was on a tight line, had a bit of dirty air from the car in front, and yeah, not quite able to do it there, so he'll have to regroup a little bit, try and get a bit closer to Jack Nichols again, and just go again, potentially in a couple of laps.
Oh yeah, the first, I believe, 8 driver a bit spread out. Oh, then we've got the group from P12, Tom Voss, to, I believe it's P19, so they're all in for some points, or at least very close to the points. So I think we can see some changes in here. And what can Guillaume Mas do? Because I would think he would have a bit more speed than the drivers around him, but can he translate that in points? Guillaume Mas now is going to attack Mateusz Guzowski for P16, goes around the outside. Can he do it? And what can Ben Willis do? Ooh, because he's attacking as well. Ooh, they try it, and Mateusz Guzowski gets back on Guillaume Mas, and they now are side by side, and in front they're also side by side. We had Kai Sonneveld overtaking Alessandro Valente. Valente or Valence. Yeah. And
yeah, while that was happening, we had we had Adrian Faber was finally able to make the move stick for P6 over Jack Nichols. But now there's quite a gap in front of him for Hurlock for P5. But I'm sure we'll try to close that in. He seems to be dropping Jack Nichols
mistake
already.
From Adam Rainey in P11. He went off, but still is in P11.
Looks like a was that Ben Willis there, getting all out of shape at the final corner in this big fight here for, well, really the end of the points. He's going to have the run here on Mike Bell up into turn 2. He's not quite going to be able to do it, I don't think. Probably wouldn't want to. He wants to set himself up for the long straight and try and get him at the hairpin. It's a much better place to overtake. But I think he's a bit too far back now. Mike Bell's going to be the one making the move on Mateusz Guzowski. Yeah, it's going to be the inside here at the Parabolica. They're going to have the outside at the hairpin. But it seems like it's going to have the move done. Guzowski can't really do anything about that.
Well, we had Massimiliano Riboli overtaking Tom Voss for P12, but Tom Voss is going for the counter attack, and now he is still side by side with Mr. Riboli, and Riboli now takes the place, and P12 is his now. But we now have got 15 laps completed. I believe 14 laps completed. So we're nearly at the end of the race. So it's a very good race here for TTSF with P1 and P2, and they're also P1 and P2 in the championship. So no surprise there, with both the the Alpha Delta cars in P3, but not in P4, but still both in the top 5, with Scott Mitchell now in P4. But I don't think Scott Mitchell can catch Mike Quint. I think they're more or less on the same pace, so I think it's more or less status quo.
Yeah, and looking further back, I noticed Luke Mitchell made a small mistake out of turn 1, had a little bit of a wiggle, and that allowed Damon Scouron through. Luke Mitchell almost looking like he was wanting to make a move back on him at the hairpin, but not able to do that. Just had as well Tom Voss got his place back on Raboli for P12, and behind him as well, you've got this big pat with Mateusz Kozłowski trying to make a move on Mike Belt, but not able to do that either. Then Willis very close behind too, and Dylan Platt obviously on his recovery stuck behind these. It's very difficult if you get into a train like this, if you look out at the back, to be able to make your way through. Sort of just have to pick them off one by one, but at the moment it's proving a little bit too difficult for Dylan to do.
Yeah,
I'm sure his setup probably isn't designed for this sort of battle.
Problem which Dylan has is that there is a DRS train, and if you've got a DRS train, it's very difficult to overtake, because you don't have the speed that because the others are also really fast on the straight because of DRS. Which is closer and closer to Damien Scoron. Can Luke Mitchell do the overtake here, and will we say any other overtake? Luke Mitchell has got a run on Damien Scoron, but Damien is defending quite hard. No, he can't pass for now. Gijs Sonneveld is passing Massimiliano Riboli for P13, so well done from him. With P13 would be a very good result.
Ooh,
well, Alessandro Valencia got it all wrong, and now Guillermo Mas goes to P15.
Yeah, we had as well there, so Dylan Platt got the overtake on Ben Willis heading on to the straight. And he almost had it completed at the hairpin, but Ben Willis, I think, got a little bit caught out by Dylan at the braking zone and ran into the back of him a tiny bit. They're both carrying on. It was quite a light touch, but not ideal there. And Mateusz Kozłowski there, he just lets Dylan through. Oh, and that's forced Ben Willis offline and into a stadium section. He's had to go across the gravel. That was not really anything bad from the Thunderdogs there with their switching positions, but I think he just unsighted Ben Willis. I don't think he was really expecting them to do it there. That bit him off, and that, I'm sure that messed up his tyres a little bit. So he goes off at the penultimate corner as well.
On the final lap, so if you've got any overtakes on this lap, then of course, if people will go for it, it's this lap, because they now know if they can make the move stick, then it might be D pass for the position, and maybe they cannot counter back. Damien Scorer is looking for P9 again, but can't do it.
Yeah, Gijs Sonneveld. Yeah, making the move on Tom Voss, but Tom Voss has the inside for the hairpin. They've still got to be side by side heading out of it. And behind as well, you've got Dylan Platt making the move on Mike Belt.
Yeah. Well, we've got,
and then got to see that Gijs Sonneveld does seem like he's going to make the move. But at the front, Darius Andre, we didn't really talk about it much because he didn't really get up to much. It was quite a simple race for him at the front. But he wins and leads a TFS race in 1-2 with Mike Quint in P3, Scott Mitchell cross the line P4, Joseph Erlott P5. And then we're going to have to wait and see what happens further down.
Yeah, Tom Voss stayed ahead of Gijs Sonneveld.
Yeah. And Dylan Platt at the moment not in the points.
Oh.
So that's a big train there, up to P15. well, P16, but Dylan Platt unfortunately not quite able to get himself in there. So he's obviously going to be a little bit closer to be able to make some moves in race 2, but it's going to be difficult again.
We had somebody crashing after the line. I'm not sure what it was.
I believe that was Alessandro Valente. Just saw him there. But yeah, I'm not too sure what was happening there. But a very good race there for the TCS Off Racing guys. Yeah.
And
it was, well, I said it was simple for Darius. I'm sure he, I'm sure in his boots maybe it wasn't so simple. He still had to obviously have the pace. Did end up with a fastest lap as well. But yeah, he still had to get the job done. Jake Dennehan, obviously, had a not perfect start, so dropped behind the Alpha Deltas, but made its way back through for a TCS off 1-2. And then Scott Mitchell, I think, did a really good job as well to make his way up a couple of positions up into P4, with Joseph Hurlock P5, and then Adrian Faber did quite well as well himself to get up to P6, Jack Nichols P7, Tom van der Voort P8, Luke Mitchell P9, and then Damien Scouron in P10. Then you've got Adam Rainey P11, Tom Voss P12, did a very good job as well to make up positions and get some points. With Heif Sonneveld P13, Massimiliano Riboli P14, and Guillaume Mas, after that mistake, he did make his way back into a single point position, and well, the last position where he could potentially get a reverse grid pole and turn this day around for him. And then out the points, we've got Alessandro Valente, Mike Bell, Dylan Platt, Tess Gazowski, Maciej Sandak, and then Stefan Schreider, Ben Willis, Dan Vlietska, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Tommy Koivunen, Renko Tadeo, Dan Holsall, Fabrice Moralato, and Josh Diggles. And then the one DNF of the race, Bryn Evans in P30. So that was race 1, an exciting race and a quite important one really for the championship.
Yeah, well, I would say Mercedes like dominance from TCS off, so that's interesting. But yeah, it makes it interesting for race 2 because now both of them need to go through the fields, and just I'm curious what kind of reverse grid we will see.
Exactly, I'm sure for them they'll be hoping for P10 as the reverse grid and have the shortest run possible to get back up to the front. But we'll just have to wait and see for that. For now though, we've got a quick 5-minute break between the races, so we'll be back for that where we'll have the reverse grid poll for you. Hello and welcome back for race 2 here at the Hockenheim ring after a quite interesting race 1. We're here for another 17 laps with a reverse grid where we'll get to see see the leaders try and fight their way through the pack and see if we can get some surprise results because of it. Menno, we've been told that number 14 is the reverse grid with Massimiliano Roboli will take the reverse grid pole. Do you think it's going to be relatively easy for him to? Well, I say relatively easy, but do you think he's got a chance of holding on there? Obviously, it's a long way back for the leaders from race 1 to be able to fight their way through.
Yeah, well, I think you can overtake here at the Hockenheim ring, but I would say one of the biggest opportunities is at the hairpin. So I think he can stay ahead for quite a while if he's at least doing a good launch and has a good start. It will be very interesting to see what Darius Andre can do, what Jake Denham can do now, starting from P14 and P13. How far can they move? Up the grid to finish in a higher position. But I think they can overtake quite a lot of guys, but I don't think it will be very easy for them. I think now with reverse grid, those top 5 have a big chance to also finish the top 5 in the race if they just don't make a mistake. So
Exactly, yeah. And one thing as well, which obviously isn't really because of the reverse grid, but we've also got Dylan Platt down in P18, I believe he'll be starting from. Obviously, well, he made up, so that would have been about 11 positions in race 1 after his after his drive-through, sorry. So we'll have to see kind of how far up he gets, whether he can kind of join Andre and Denham and just follow them through the pack. We'll have to wait and see. But we've gone to the race session now, so the drivers will be getting ready, heading on to the grid, and then we can run you through the grid on the formation lap. But yeah, it's going to be quite important for Dylan Platt, really, to be able to, like I say, make his way through the grid. And for the TCS off guys as well, be able to make their through and cement their place at the top, at least for now. So we're heading on to the formation lap now with, like I said, Massimiliano Roboli for Valley Esports leading the way. I believe he had a reverse grid pole last year and got a podium out of it. Can't remember what track that was at, but he's got a good history of this. And we've got Heis Sonneveld in P2 with Tom Voss in P3 and Adam Rainey in P4. We've then got Damien Scouron for Team Furlich P5, Luke Mitchell in P6 with Tom Vandervoort P7 and Jack Nichols P8. Then it's Adrian Faber in P9, Tristan Thurlock P10, Scott Mitchell P11 and Mike Quint P12. And then the two TCL off guys of Jake Denham and Darius Andre P13 and 14, with Guillaume Mas being the unfortunate one to miss out on reverse grid pole in P15, with Alessandro Valente behind him in P16. Then you got Mike Bell and Dylan Platt, P17 and 18, with Mateusz Kozowski and Maciej Sandak, P19 and 20. And then we got Stefan Schreider in P21, and Ben Willis P22, Stan Vlietzer at P23, Bruno Sousa Ferreira P24. And Tommy Koivunen P25, Remco Dezeo P26, Dylan Halsall P27, and Fabrice Moralato P28. And then the final row of Josh Diggles, who I think had an incident in race 1, and Bryn Evans, who also retired from race 1. But it's good to see him return for race 2. So I'm sure we'll be hoping for a little bit more today.
Yeah, well, I got something. I heard in between races, Bryn Evans had a PC issue with a bit of freezing game. So I hope he fixed it now for this race, and he can actually go for a decent result now. And I think a decent result is just finishing for Bryn Evans. Let's see if he can do that.
Exactly. Obviously, it's his first FC round, so no, you can't expect too much. But obviously, it's nice to be able to finish, and especially when it's something out of your control, like a computer issue. It's never nice to have to end the race because of that. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him get to the end But at the front, do you have any predictions for who do you think will be able to kind of hold on at the front, or whether
Yes, yes.
the fast
I
guys
would
will go straight the way
say
through?
I would say Tom Voss. I predict he will be good.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, he's in P3. I'm going to say Damon Scouron in P5 can have a go for the win.
Good shout.
But we'll see as the
We'll
lights
see
come on now with 5 lights. And we are away for race 2. It's a good getaway from High Sonneveld.
Oh,
No one quite
good
able
for
to make a
Scouron.
move. Scouron as well, yeah. Looking around the outside of Rainey, but not quite able to do it. You've got Nichols Van der Voort as well, having a go at each other there in turn 1. I believe again everyone is cleanly through turn 1. No spins or anything there.
Three wide.
It's good to see. Tom
Oh.
Van der Voort is off the track there at turn 2. I think he got a little bit of a hit from the King's Racing car there.
Oh, we've got
And
a
we've
spinner.
Ooh. Was that was a King's Racing car as well, wasn't it? I think I saw Scott Mitchell
Yeah, that's
off
Mitchell.
on the Parabolica. So he's dropped all the way
Oh.
to the back of the grid.
You've got
And at the
a
front there, you've
guy
got Adam Rainey.
from Adam
Yeah.
Rainey.
Oh, big instant there. 2 Alpha Deltas and the 2 TCS off cars involved.
Oh, Herlock
There's a
lost
lot
his
of cars involved
wing.
there at the hairpin. That is not what you want to see. Obviously, we didn't see the start of that. We just saw the car silent in there. But it sounds Darius Andre up to P9. You've got Jake Denhan battling, but he's got P10 there with Mass in P11.
Yeah. Mike Quint is out as well.
Like Quint's out, yeah. I saw him lose his wing. Oh, and Herlock
Oh.
as well. So the 2 Alpha Deltas, after such a good race one there, both out now on the
Big
first lap of
drama.
race 2. We've got as well Adrian Faber that's dropped down to P23. So I don't know if he got involved in that incident or a different one. But he's down the order.
Oh,
And really, I'm not. I mean, it depends if it's got damage or not. But
yeah.
You've got to say it's quite good for the 2 TCS off cars.
mistakes. Well, we now have got Massimiliano Rivoli leading. Then it's Guy Sonneveld in P2, and he can follow quite good. It's Adam Rainey who made the move on Tom Voss in P3. We've got Tom Voss then in P4, Luke Mitchell in P5, Damian Scorer in P6, but Jack Nichols in P7, and he is flying. He had a very good start. But does he have the pace to battle for the big positions? They go 3 wide into the hairpin. Can they do it? Yeah. Damon Scorer now goes to P5. So he passes Luke Mitchell. And where are the rest? It's Mike Bell in P8. Very good position for Mike Bell at the moment. But now Darius Andre is going for the overtake here. And he takes P8, and yeah, it's a very good start from Darius Andre, so he has a big chance to get a podium or more out of it. Whereas Jake Denhan? Jake Denhan now is in P10, so already in P10.
Yeah, at the moment it's looking like Rivoli's got a decent gap, but High Sonneveld not too far behind. And then there's a decent gap back to Adam Rainey. So potentially going to see a training foreman here for the final podium position. Adam Rainey just doesn't seem to have the pace. Tom Voss obviously was in front of him, but like I said, I think he made a small mistake. So I'm sure he'll be trying to claim that back. But this could help out Darius Andre and Jake Denhan to make their way through. As we've got Luke Mitchell looking for a move at turn 2, but not able to do anything there on Damon Scouron. But he's obviously going to have the slipstream and DRS here, which has been activated this lap. So we'll be able to make a move at the hairpin. Front, you've got Tom Voss, a bit too far behind Adam Rainey this time around. But Luke Mitchell will definitely have a go later on the brakes of Scouron. But he's have to go around the outside, and that's always going to be a difficult place. So has to sit back for another lap. Behind them, you've got Jake Denhan has closed up a lot on Mike Bell there. Not close enough to be able to make a move this lap, but I'm sure he'll be trying very soon. And then you've got at the end of the points, Tez Kozlowski trying to make a move here on Ben Willis. It's we're getting into the difficult part of the track to make overtakes, where you have to, well, it'll be a very bold move if you did go through anything here.
Can I just give a huge shout out to Bryn Evans, who now is in P15 after starting from a P30. And
Unfortunately, as you say that, dropped to P16. Oh no, no, he's been hit. he got passed by Tom van der Voort there at the Sachs curve, and then he got a little bit of a hit on the exit. I mean, he kept it in a straight line, and I don't think he should have too much damage, but unfortunately he's dropped down to P22. But yes, I hadn't noticed that. That was a great start for him in, from right at the back to P15, first 3 laps. Unfortunately dropped back a little bit now, but...
Go at the front. I think we've got Guy Sonneveld who now will go at for the attack of the lead. Can he go for it? Goes around the outside because Massimiliano Riboli forces him to go around the outside. Walks the corner. Can he go for it? Yeah, he's got a better exit. Guy Sonneveld goes to the lead. What can Massimiliano Riboli do? Can he counter back? Or is this the lead for Guy Sonneveld? Yeah, it is. And now it's interesting what will happen because Guys seems to be the faster one, but both of them, Riboli and Sonneveld, need to be smart with this. If they battle too much, then the rest will catch up. If they now at least stop battling for a few laps and just follow each other, I think then they will have a better chance. But will Riboli follow, or will he go for the attack again?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned earlier, Rainey doesn't quite seem to... I mean, he has improved his lap time on the last lap, so maybe he's now got back into the groove. But yeah, if those two, if they are on even pace as Riboli and Rainey go wide at turn 1 there, if them two can manage to just pull themselves away from the pack, then that will help them out massively. But it seems like Adam Rainey's now the one closing in and potentially looking to take this P2 away from Riboli.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that Riboli can open his DRS as well, so can Rainey do it even with DRS from Riboli? And I think
looks like he can. He's closing in quite a lot. He's going to have the inside line into the hairpin from a decent way back, but he makes a move and he makes it stick. So very clean move there for Adam Rainey to take P2 away from Riboli. And we've got behind as well the two TSS soft cars. I think we're having a little bit of touch in there at the hairpin, but Darius Andres still ahead of Dennehan. And behind as well you've got Mass make the move on Mike Belt to move his way up into P10. But yeah, the two TSS soft cars, we've seen it in the last few rounds, they don't seem to want to do team orders. That's Darius Andres going very wide. But this allowed Jake Dennehan to go through for a move into the stadium. Go side by side, definitely no team orders here. Side by side into the Sachs curve, and Dennehan closes in, make more contact. Still side by side through this whole final sector, and Dennehan
really close.
Looks like he has it. He has it.
That's what we want to see.
That.
No team orders there. Just go for it. Your P1 and P2 in the championship. In the P2 in the championship now wants to show, hey Darius, you're doing well this season, but don't count me out. I'm still there, and he showed some muscle there.
Exactly, yeah, in front as well with some muscle. Sorry, Luke Mitchell made the move at turn 2 there and Damon Scouron. Unfortunately, that's going to leave him vulnerable to the slipstream and DRS from Scouron. So perhaps that was a little bit too much of a heartfelt move there. So Scouron is going to make the move back up the inside at the hairpin. And Mitchell seems to be able to go later on the brakes, but unfortunately when you're on the outside, that doesn't help too much. And in front as well, you've got Riboli as well, dropping out of the podium spots. So he was looking so good in the first few laps, but unfortunately, and it seems to be the thing, if you get an overtake done on you, then you lose the momentum a little bit. And that seems to be what's happened to Riboli. And also behind there, Mitchell made another quite bold move, but he made it stick now on Damon Scouron to take P5. So now I'm sure he'll be looking to close in on the cars in front and potentially get a podium for himself here. And then further back, no moves going on right now, but there's a big train, 4 points really, held up by Tom van der Voort in P14. Well, really, Ben Willis in P15.
And Mike Bell is still in P11, so he was in P8 before, but now he's dropped back to P11. So yeah, lost a bit, but still good points. Ben Willis now has got P15, and he would really like to get those points in. Yeah. Because he didn't.
At the front though, Adam Rainey has closed in a lot on High Sonneveld here. He's in the slipstream of DRS. He's going to be a bit too far back, at least for the hairpin. I would have thought. He's going to have a look. He's very late on the brakes, and he does go for the move, actually. That was very late, and they make a bit of contact at the apex. I don't think Sonneveld would have seen him go for that move, or wouldn't have expected it, at least. But it has set up Adam Rainey very close behind to make a move, potentially into the Mercedes curve, and he does go for it again, very late on the brakes. Bit clean this time.
Yeah, but
bit
guys,
of a
he's still
wiggle.
there.
Yeah. They make more contact. Rainey's going for a little bit of a slide.
Yeah, guys, he's still there.
Got it still. Side by side into the stadium section. More contact, more sliding for both of them. But again, somehow both holding on to it. And Adam Rainey now with the inside of the Sats curve has finally made that move stick. So quite aggressive there for the lead. But obviously, if you're going for a win, then you can sort of expect that.
Yeah, but guys, he's not out of it. If he can just get DRS again, then I think he will be passing Adam Rainey again. Adam Rainey was quite aggressive there. I think much more than guys would have expected. So maybe guys now thinks, okay, if you are going to do it like this, I will be quite aggressive as well. So let's see if he can be close enough. And look at Tom Vos. Tom Vos was out of this battle, but because of the big battle for the lead, Tom Vos could close, and don't count him out because he's got experience in FC.
Exactly, yeah. But like you mentioned, Sonneveld with the slipstream DRS, he's going to make a relatively move down the straight, but he's going to be on the outside for the hairpin, and Adam Rainey late on the brakes. Again, does manage to keep hold of it that time.
Well,
behind
guys,
as well, you've got Raboli and Nichols. Sorry, yeah. Will Sonneveld go for a move? He's got to be around the outside again into the Mercedes curve.
Oh,
he does go for it. More contact.
Ooh.
Again, quite aggressive moves from both of them there, but Sonneveld has got it. And Rainey, I think, is going to have to just sit behind for now as he goes for a very bold move.
Yeah,
he does.
they don't go for it. And look at Tom Vos. Look at Tom Vos. Tom Vos goes to P2. Can he go for P1? No.
P1, no,
he's waiting for it. Oh, and look at Luke Mitchell. Yes.
Ooh.
Now Adam Rainey is going to be pushed off. Yes. This is just yeah. We saw this more or less coming. Oh, and he takes out.
He's took Darius out.
He takes Darius out.
Darius has gone spinning at the penultimate corner there because of it.
Oh,
and
this could have so easily
quite
been
heavy damage.
avoided because yeah, we saw him going off, but yeah. I think
that was just a little bit too bold for the move there from Adam, and really it started at that right-hander into the stadium section. Just carried on from there.
Let's go back to the lead, because now we've got Tom Vos going for the lead on lap 9 out of 17 in race 2 for Team Academy. Now is going head-to-head with Guy Sonneveld for Team Valence. They're going for it, and Tom Vos takes the lead. Tom Vos takes the lead. Guy Sonneveld, can he attack right away, or will he go for the inside? Will he go for the outside? Goes for the inside on Tom Vos. Goes for it and makes the corner stick. Yeah, pushes him a bit wide, but he is still there. And Luke Mitchell now is in P3, and Luke Mitchell knows that this is a decent chance to get a podium or more. And actually, I don't know if Luke Mitchell actually got a podium this year.
I'm not too sure myself, to be honest. I don't believe so, off the top of my head, but he may have. I was just looking through the order there, so 9 laps in. I'll see race 2 is normally a little bit more.
No podium for Luke Mitchell?
No, so he'll be he'll be going for it to get this. I noticed there, sorry, at the final corner as well, I think Scarrow made a small mistake to allow Jake Denham through for P6. But as I was going to say as well, obviously we've got 4 retirements at the moment on lap 10 now.
And we've got
Mike Quinn and Herlock, obviously.
Yeah, we've got Tom Vos close again for the lead. He opens DRS, and it gives such top speed difference. Of course, guys will defend. I think he will do, but not too much. So Tom Vos can now go to the inside. Needs to brake a little bit earlier. Still there, and I think he now put off the move. No, guys is still there, and his exit out of the corner is quite good. So he is still there. Still there. Can he do it? Guys needs to brake later than he does. Yeah, more or less half blocks Tom here, but now Tom has got the inside, and I think now Tom has done it. Yes, now Tom done it.
Oh, and Luke Mitchell. Look at Luke Mitchell. He's Just made the move on Sonneveld there. Is he going to go for a move? No, he backs out of that one. Plays it smart there. So Luke Mitchell now in P2. And arguably, he's the one looking most likely to take the win.
Oh, look at Jack
We've got
Nichols.
Jack Nichols. Made a very late move there into the Sats curve and made a move on Sonneveld, who's now being pushed out by Raboli. And that's allowed Dennehan through potentially. No, not quite through on Raboli. Oh, and Scouron gets caught up there with
Guys, come
Sonneveld.
on. I know you're frustrated that people pass you, but yeah, they're half next to you, and yeah.
That's the show though. Obviously we've seen it really throughout this whole race. One small incident, one small mistake of someone being pushed offline can lead to quite a lot of positions dropped and
now
a lot of
it's
issues
looking
for them.
very good, Josh, for Jack Nichols in P3. I didn't thought he was in contention for a win a few laps ago, but now he's in P3 and he can see Luke Mitchell and Tom Voss driving.
Exactly, yeah, but look out behind him, because now we've got Jake Dennehan in P4. Just made a move on Raboli there at the hairpin. Relatively easy one this time around. So Dennehan in P4, obviously he's got the pace, we know from race 1. So he'll also be looking to get right on the back of this pack and potentially fight for the win himself. And I mean, don't count out Luke Mitchell either. Obviously he trains with his brother Scott and also Jack Nichols. So I'm sure he also will be looking to take this win too. So this could get very tasty in the last few laps. Looking further behind, I noticed the Furlich cars were battling quite hard on the previous lap, and that means that Mass is now into 7 in front of his teammate Scouron, who obviously lost out at the final corner. And Darius Andre has made his way up to P10 after that incident he had with Adam Rainey. And behind him is Dylan Platt, so I'm not sure if Platt's been involved in too many incidents. I haven't noticed, but he has made his way through into the points. I'll see after his race 1
and look at
back
Jake
as well.
Dennehan. Look at Jake Dennehan, he's lining up. His first victim for the podium, it's Jack Nichols, who I think can't defend. Yeah, he will try to defend, but is this a question of time for Jake Dennehan to pass, or can Jack Nichols do something? He's trying it,
He is, yeah, and Luke Mitchell has run wide as well there a little bit. They were almost 3 wide there on the exit. But yeah, it looks like Jake Dennehan has just made the move. He had the help of the slipstream from Luke Mitchell after Nichols went defensive. So yeah, good move there from Dennehan up onto the podium positions. And now he will, he wanting to make his charge to take the win here. Obviously in race 1 he wasn't really able to fight for the win because he was just stuck behind the Alpha Deltas for a little bit too long, which allowed Darius Andre through and to kind of just run away with it a little bit. But now Darius is out of the picture, so Dennehan has this all to himself for TCS off, and I'm sure he'll really want this.
Well, we now have 12 laps completed, so still 5 to go. And yeah, the win is on for Jake Dennehan, you would think, but he still needs to pass through drivers. And can he do that? How easily can Jake Dennehan pass Luke Mitchell? Or will it be very difficult, and can Tom Voss run away when Luke Mitchell is defending?
Well, he'll sort of have to try the same thing that he did on Nichols on the previous lap. Let's see, Luke Mitchell isn't going to go defensive though, so Jake Dennehan is going to have to just send it up the inside. We've seen that the inside line is very strong here at the hairpin. Seems like that is the case, but Luke Mitchell is still just about alongside him. Just got his front wing alongside him. Is he going to be able to make a move here? Try and take that P2 back into the Mercedes curve? No, not quite. So Jake Dennehan made that, well, relatively easy move there on Luke Mitchell. So now he's just got one person in front of him, Tom Voss, who obviously is, well, he's done quite a few races here at GPVWC. Not necessarily this season, but he is a very talented driver himself.
But he never won a race in Formula Challenge, so would be good if he could win it. But yeah, Jake Dennehan is much faster. You can just see the way he can drive the car. Yeah, in the final sector you just see his car is much better balanced, and yeah. I fear this is game over for the win for Tom Voss, at least when Jake can open his DRS. Then it will be, yeah, it will be game over. But yeah, of course he still needs to pass it, but it will be very, very easy, I fear. Look, goes around the outside. Actually, Tom is defending. Is he going to brake later? No, not even. Very easy braking from Jake Denhan, and he takes the lead. And how many points can he get back from Darius in the championship? That will be interesting. Where is Darius now? Darius
is in P9 at the moment. Behind him we've got behind him we've got Mike Bell and Dylan Platt all fighting at the hairpin there. Mike Bell did take the pace, but Dylan Platt with a big move there up the inside, but no, not able to make that one happen. So he's going to have to sit behind Mike Bell for now, potentially until the next straight, unless he's going to go for a move here. He is into the stadium section. Wow, what a move there. Went very late there, and probably one of the cleanest attempts we've seen in that corner. I think there was a slight brushing, but yeah, very good move there from Dylan Platt. He can see Darius right in front of him, pulling away because of all this battling, so he does not want to have to sit behind Mike Bell any longer than he has to. So now he has to show the pace that he's got to pull away and try and get on this train that really leads all the way to Rivoli in P6, who himself actually isn't too far off the train in front for the lead. But obviously he doesn't necessarily have the pace for that at the moment. And yeah, Jake Denhan pulled away a big gap there on Tom Voss, who is still in the DRS, but not close enough to try anything here.
Oh, he's not close enough, and I think Tom Voss needs to be careful not to lose P2 to Luke Mitchell, who looks to be a bit faster now. I fear next lap when and if Tom Voss loses DRS, that it will be very difficult for him to defend from Luke Mitchell and from Jack Nichols, who is now in P4, which will be decent points. And Guy Sonneveld now is in P5 after having a bit of incidents mid-race, a few incidents there. But yeah, P5 would be a very good result if he can manage to pull that in for Valence Sim Racing.
Yeah, that would be a good result. At the moment, Valence themselves are only on 19 points, best result with a P9 over the whole season. So a P5, I'm sure they would very happily take. But
and Darius goes for P8 on Damien Scoron. And Darius, goes to P8. Can he go overtake some more cars? Yeah, time is limited now. And now we see a move from Jack Nichols for the podium. I think Jack Nichols will go for overtake on Luke Mitchell. Yeah, there he goes. Goes to brake later. Can he do it? He is quite
no,
overtaking, but cannot
Luke
do
Mitchell with a very good exit from around the outside. Made it back, and Scouron actually made the move back on Darius Sundry there into the hairpin. So Scouron moves back into P8. And I noticed as well there at turn 2 as well, Guillaume Mass made the move on Rivoli for P6 and held it. So Mass into P6, Rivoli down to P7, now with Scouron right behind him, and Darius Sundry right behind him. Potentially had a quick look into the stadium section, but never really went through it. As I put Scouron off, because Andre's going to try and go around the outside of the Sachs curve, but no, not able to do that. But he is very close. You can see the pace he's got. He's going to have a move there in the penultimate corner, not normally where you see moves like that happen. I think at the moment he's just trying to put Scouron off a little bit, maybe. If Scouron loses that slipstream from Rivoli, then this can make for a quite easy move for Andre.
Well, we're now on the final lap of the race with Jake Denhan leading, Tom Voss P2 and Luke Mitchell P3. Will this be our top 3 or will something change? Jack Nichols is actually going to defend on Guy Sonneveld. That's very interesting. Does Guys have a run here from P5 to P4? Yeah, I think Guys has a bit of a run, but I think he will not be close enough to go for P4. Or will he? Will somebody do a dive? No, not yet here. think it's quite, yeah, quite a normal turn there, and no big dives on the last lap of the second race here.
No, we did have Roboli though in P7. I think he went a little bit deep into the hairpin. Kind of backed up all the cars behind him. Oh, and he goes deep again into the Mercedes curve. Maybe his tyres going off there. And so they'll scouring through, and Andre around the outside, loses it a little bit. You got Dylan Platt watching behind. They make a bit of contact there. And Andre not quite able to make the move for now, but he's going to have a look up the inside of the Sats curve.
But we need to go to the race winner, race 2 winner, Jake Denhan, TCS Off Racing. So it's a clean sweep from TCS Off, winning both races, with Tom Voss P2 for the GPVWC Academy team, and Luke Mitchell his first podium in Formula Challenge P3. Guy Sonneveld his best ever result in Formula Challenge in P4. What happened between Jack Nichols and Guy Sonneveld?
I noticed it. Jack Nichols just got onto the curb on the exit of the penultimate corner, and obviously once you're on that curb, it's quite a high one. Just went straight on a little bit, allowed high through for that P4. So shame there for Jack Nichols to lose it like that after a long battle through the race for that position. But a good race nonetheless.
Very good race.
Yeah.
We're now waiting for
the is the incident with Adam Rainey. Hit him while taken out, really. Both Alpha Delta.
Yeah. It was. I think. It was an incident a few corners before, and he went off and he couldn't rejoin safely. But we now see the results here. So Jake Denhan, Tom Voss, Luke Mitchell, Guy Sonneveld, and Jack Nichols in the top 5, with Wilma Maas, Damian Scoron, Massimiliano Riboli, Darius Andre, and Dylan Platz from P6 to P10. Mike Bell, Tom Vandervoort, Adrian Faber, Maciej Sandak, and Scott Mitchell score the final points. And then outside the points, it's Ben Willis, Mateusz Guzowski, Stefan Scheider, Tommy Koivunen, and Bruno Souza Ferreira. We've got the final 10. Stan Vlietstra in P21 with Remco de Zeeuw P22, Don Haschel P23, Fabrice Morelato P24, and Alessandro Valente P25. We've got 5 retirements: Josh Diggles, Adam Rainey, Brent Evans, Mike Quince, and Joseph Erlock.
Yeah, so like I was mentioned there, quite important, I guess, for the championship again, with TCS Off Racing improving their position at the front, and a bad race there for Alpha Delta. I don't think it was really through any fault of their own. Again, I still haven't fully seen that incident at the hairpin, but a bad race for them nonetheless. But anyway, that was the round at Hockenheim. Like I mentioned, next time out will be the French Grand Prix at Manicourt, and then we go to Spa, and then we'll have the summer break actually after Spa, before coming back for Monza, Singapore, Suzuka, Kota, and the final race at Brazil there on the 12th of October. But in the meantime, we've got an interview here with the P2 man from race 2 there, Tom Voss. Tom, I see you've been around GPV for a little while now, but just come back for the race now. So how does it feel to come back and be able to get a podium on your first round back?
I didn't expect it, to be honest. I was struggling a lot with this car. The back end was sliding every time, but I had some rocket speed, straight line speed on straights, and that helped me a lot. So, and then at the MP2 somehow.
Yeah, that's very good stuff. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, you've sort of come in for this one race. Have you got any plans of staying and doing some more races, or is this just a one-off where you found some time for it?
Just a one-off, I think.
Okay, well, hopefully we will see you again in the future at some point. But for now, a good round for your one-off. Menno, have you got anything else to add? You mentioned there actually that Tom so far hasn't had a win, unfortunately, in the Formula Challenge, and just missed out.
I was so close, but then Jake, come on. No.
Yeah, he was quite fast, but I would say you still did a very good job, Tom. And yeah, I think you can be very proud of your at least your battling skills. A bit of a
Yes.
silent assassin waiting to strike here, but yeah, assassin Danahan was a bit too strong. But yeah,
Only a
I-
little bit.
yeah, only a little bit. So yeah, but yeah, I guess very good races here in Germany. Just you got anything to add?
No, I think that was everything. Just yeah, like I say, a very good round there, Tom. So congratulations for that, and thank you for that interview.
Thank you.
Now, as we don't seem to have the podium finishers, none of them seem to be very talkative, and in fact, I don't think we've spoken to any of the TCS off guys over the season, and that seems like it will stay the case for now. So, like I mentioned, well, we've been through the calendar. So next time out, in 2 weeks' time, will be Manicourt at France. Quite interested to see how the cars go around there. I believe that's the first time we've been to Manicourt in the career ladder. I don't know if you can
No, we've
confirm
been
that.
there
At least it
before.
as a race. I know we've done tests there before.
We've been there in 2013, I remember.
There we go. Well, eight years
That's a
out.
long time ago. I think that
Very
was the
long
last
time.
time. Yeah, when
Yeah.
I was little Menno, and yeah, I was ready in the league. Then I remember that. So going back to Manicourt will be very interesting because I think a lot of drivers will not know the track nearly as good as all the other tracks like here, like Hockenheim or like your normal Spa-Francorchamps or Silverstone. So it gives yeah, a bit of a good chance to make the difference if you have a click with this track. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And in the meantime of that, then we've got on Thursday will be the Supercut round here at Hockenheim, and then next week is the development series of Super League Lights and Super League, the proper fast F1 style cars. So we'll be interested to see how they do around Hockenheim. But in the meantime, like I say, it's been me and Menno and Tom Stevens on the cameras, and goodbye.
Goodbye.